Hi guys, it's Kiarko here, back with another speed build, and today we're building an eco home. So what is an eco home? Basically, it's just a home that's supposed to be built to look environmentally friendly, and just kind of like it's made of like reused and recycled materials, and like someone who like really cares about the environment lives here. And we're gonna put this big mural up on the side. It's gonna be so beautiful. I'm honestly just really proud of how this build turned out, like just in general. I tried a lot of new like build techniques here. I also tried a major new color palette that's very bright and just so intense, and not usually what I would go for in my build. So I'm just really happy with how this turned out, and hope you guys are too. Of course, if you guys come up with any name ideas for this build, because eco home is just so freaking generic, I'm sure you guys will come up with something better. Please let me know, because I'm always curious just to see, you know, what your imagination comes up with. Anyways, as you can see, the base home that we're starting with is made of what I imagined are these shipping crates, right? Like people do like shipping container conversions where they like, you know, gut out the insides and they turn them to little homes. Basically, the idea is that you have these two stacked shipping containers that have been like renovated. Somehow they put like windows in the wall, I guess. I don't know if that's possible with a shipping container, but in this particular case, I guess it is. And I actually really like these windows here. They're like the, I don't even know what you call them. They were very popular in the 80s, I think. They're like that they're like blocks of like glass. You probably have seen them in like schools and stuff. I just, some people really hate that style of window. I actually think it's really cool, and I put them here in like a checkerboard pattern, just, you know, for like a little fun little pattern there. In general, I was trying to make this lot have a very like fun vibe in general, because I feel like I don't know, I feel like I wanted to stay away from like a specific aesthetic that can like fall into like the eco home like category, especially with this particular game pack, which is the eco lifestyle game pack. I wanted things to look less like, what's the word? Just like trash, like just like upgraded trash, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like a tire turned into a seat. I wanted to look more like actually like pretty and designed. And I know not everything eco-friendly has to be pretty, but just in this particular build, I wanted things to seem very like bright and fun and like clean and organized, and just a really cool place to, you know, chill and vibe out, I guess. But like I said, it is a home, so people do live here. Imagine like it's a pretty small home. I mean, there's only one bedroom on the inside, so it's probably just like a couple who lives here, or maybe just one person. And I'm not exactly sure what they do. Perhaps they're like, they might actually be like a designer themselves, like an eco designer, or maybe they are, I don't know, like a gardener, like a community cleanup person. I'm not quite sure. Let me know if you guys have any ideas for that too. Anyway, so this particular build like came to my mind recently because in real life I've been thinking a lot about, as someone who's like studying interior design right now, thinking about just like how I can be more environmentally aware and more eco-friendly in like the way I design, right? Because like even down to like the selection of your materials can have like a huge impact on the environment. Because if you choose a material, like for example, you want to source a very like rare wood for your walls, well, maybe that wood, like I said, is like super rare, and maybe like that tree is going extinct or something, or maybe like the practices involved in like getting that tree aren't like super ethical. So there's like a lot of considerations that you have to take when you actually design buildings that have to do with the environment. And I feel like in the future, I think that I'm going to try to get there's this program called LEED, which is LEED, you can look it up. It's basically a program that gives you the certification that like says you're like trained and you're aware of like all these environmentally friendly practices in design, right? So that's something I plan on getting at a certain point when I can, just because I feel like it's important to me to be able to design buildings that actually like don't kill the environment, you know? Because, you know, that's kind of important, I think. And just like having that on my mind recently just made me want to do a build that was just somewhat inspired by that. That being said, I don't know like if this build was built in real life. I don't know if it would actually be that environmentally friendly. I mean, I'm not LEED certified yet, so I don't know all the details and the facts about that. But it's something I'm looking forward to be able to like feel good about the things I'm designing, to feel like I actually like, you know, like I care about the environment, which I do, and that'd be nice to be certified in. But yeah, anyways, so back to the build, you'll actually see like there's a lot of things that we add and we take away, and we add and we take away here, because like for the example, this crane is super cool, but we do end up taking it away. You can see I just like popped it out of existence right there. Basically, I was trying to experiment with like a lot of different things here. Like I said earlier, I tried a lot of new build techniques and a lot of new things I haven't used before, like this fencing I've never used before, but I feel like it looks pretty cool. And then we use like some plant techniques with like the tool mod and all this cool stuff, and you'll see that later on. But basically I was just trying to figure out like the layout of this space, and that's why things keep changing, is because I just really didn't know what like the layout of the lot would be. So the front area, which is like kind of the most important part of the house, you'll see it actually changes quite a lot. You can see I popped in a wind turbine. Is that what it's called? Oh, I keep wanting to call it a windmill, but it's not a windmill. It's like a turbine, right? Because I feel like that makes sense for them to have, you know, renewable energy. Yeah, anyways, I feel like in my future home, like my dream home, I do imagine it being like, as much as I can make it like completely self-sustainable. That'd be so awesome, you know? So I don't have to rely on, you know, the power grid, and I don't have to rely on like an outside water supply. It'd be so cool if like my house was just like self-sufficient, you know what I mean? That'd be so freaking cool. Like if I could like collect rainwater on my roof, and then I have like my own, you know, solar panels and my own, wind turbine. I keep forgetting that word. I feel like that'd be so cool. And then I could have like my garden where I grow my vegetables, and then I could have, you know, chickens to lay eggs. It sounds like I want to just live on a farm sometimes. But I would really like to, I know this is crazy, but I would love to live in a townhouse in the city that just is like totally self-sufficient. I feel like that'd be so cool. But you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens with life. Anyways, so in the front section of this house, basically I wanted it to seem like a space that was like semi-open to the community, because I didn't want it to be super closed off. I wanted to have a sense of like the garden there. While that garden does belong to the person who lives here, I do feel like they want it to seem open to the people who live in the area, you know what I mean? So people could come and help out with the garden, or pick vegetables if they have like food insecurity or something like that. Just kind of like a community garden that's like run on this like private lot, if that makes sense. And then other spaces in the front area, there'll be like a little like eating space, so that there can be like big dinner parties for like people in the community. There could be like, I don't know, gatherings, meetings, stuff like that. I definitely feel like the person who lives here is like super involved in their community. You know, because they care so much about the environment, they obviously probably should care a lot about the people who live in the environment, right? So they probably just involve themselves a lot in the people around them. Also, you'll notice I put in a lot of like things in like this section of the video that I do end up taking out, like that tree, and those lettuce things, the lettuce in the garden, and these like little green patches. I take them out and I replace them with different like plant life and stuff like that. And the reason I do that is because this particular shade of green of the plant life I chose is just like not the shade of green I wanted. And I know that sounds so crazy to some of you, but I'm so crazy about color, you know that. So I do swap out those plants for like more like blue-green plants, because I wanted to match like the blue-green of the shipping container on top there. And we popped in a little bit of a garage door over there, so maybe someone could park their car, probably an electric car, right? But it's funny because I put a garage door there on the side of the building, and then I don't even make the inside a garage. It's like something totally different, so it's kind of like a fake garage door, but you know, whatever, it's fine. I don't even know if, I gave him a driveway and I gave him a garage door, but I don't even know if this person would drive a car. Probably not. They probably bike everywhere. I'm a cyclist. I bike everywhere. So I just feel sometimes inclined to make all my, my homeowners bikers. But for some reason, I didn't place a bike on this lot. I think I just like wasn't feeling the color palette of them, but whatever, it's fine. Anyways, we're gonna set up a little table here, and like I said, this is where this person could host, you know, dinner parties, meetings, anything like that. We are gonna like move it around, because like I said, we're gonna delete some stuff and move some stuff around, so it's not gonna be like directly in this location. But we do have all these like mismatched chairs, and the idea was they just kind of like grabbed what they had nearby, or maybe these are like chairs like donated by people, or something like that, I don't know. And then we're gonna start moving around our plants pretty soon, I think. I'm sorry that you guys had to see me set all this stuff up and then I go back and delete it all, but that's just like the nature of how I build. I'm just very like improv. I just go with the flow of things. But you can see I put that like blue grass on the wall there, and once I put that grass down, I was like, oh, that shade of green looks way better with this build than like the yellow green. So I deleted all that stuff, and then you can see we're gonna go back in and change it. So sorry to make you watch that again, but you can see how like my build process works, you know? And we're gonna put in this tree in particular because you can see the leaves of it are that shade of blue-green that I really wanted. And then we're gonna put in these pots, and then we're gonna like use the tool mod to like, you know, push them down to the ground. You could also probably see earlier I put in like a bus stop in front of the home, and that was like just another little idea about you know, promoting like public transportation in this area so that, you know, it saves, like, it's better for your environmental footprint to take public transportation as opposed to like taking a car or something like that. So I thought having a bus stop there would be great, because if like people are coming to this house to like attend a garden dinner party or to like, you know, help out with the garden or something like that, they could take the bus instead of driving here. Or bike, or, you know, anything like that. And then we're gonna put in some rock placement. You guys know, I mean, rock placement is not new on this channel. Oh no, I deleted it all. I totally forgot about it. Okay, so rock placement for like no reason at all. Recreational rock placement, we'll call it. And then here's that lovely mural I told you about. It just absolutely ties the whole space together, and it just looks like it's just so perfect. It's got a bird on it. It's got flowers and fields. It's basically just like a beautiful environment just slapped on the side of this house. And I love the color palette of it, and it just ties everything together. Love it. And then on the back, or I guess not. Well, I'm just looking around for stuff to put in here now. Just, you know, trying to fill it up with decorations, making it look pretty. I'm like, I know I said this at the beginning of the video, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. Like, I was so surprised because there were several times during this build where I just wanted to like abandon it outright because I just was like, this is not working, but like the more I like just thought about what I was doing and just like kept reiterating and changing, you know, each movement I did, it just got closer and closer to what I was like imagining. So I guess like my problem with building, like my biggest flaw, I would say as a builder, is that I give up too fast. I've noticed that with a lot of other builds that I've done where I get like really far into the build and I'm just like, this is not working, and I just give up. You guys would not believe how many abandoned builds I have. I have a lot of just like really nearly done builds that I just like for some reason just wasn't vibing with, and I just got, you know, deleted them. But you know, that's just me. I'm too picky. I think I need to trust more in my process and realize that, you know, like sometimes I just need to like maybe sit back and remove myself from the build so I can come back to it and actually figure out what's wrong with it. So I don't have to keep abandoning all these really beautiful builds. At least I think they're beautiful. I know I pat myself on the back a lot. But anyway, so back to this particular build, which I am very proud of. We do have this like little swing set in the corner here so you can sit outside. Maybe you can read or something like that. I don't know if you would like read on a swing set. That I feel like that would make you dizzy, but I mean, maybe that's just me. I get, you know what, what I find most annoying about myself is that I get like car sick when I try to read in cars. And I hate that because like so many other people, like it's such, whenever you're in a car ride or anything like that, it's such a good time to just like knock out a book or something like that, you know, just like sit there and read. And whenever I try, I get so car sick and I can't do it, and it's so frustrating. And the same thing with like going on my phone, right? If I look at my phone in a car, I also feel car sick. So like I can't do anything when I'm in a car except look out the window. So it's like a nice time for me to just like vibe out to like listening to music and just staring out the window, I guess. But I'm just jealous of all the people who could do other things, you know? So back to this build, you can see like on the top of like the second floor shipping container, there's actually like a little balcony in front of that window, the square window. I just realized looking at this that balcony is like not usable at all because that window it's not a door. But you know what, we can pretend that maybe that window like slides open or something like that. So let's pretend that balcony is kind of useful, I guess. Anyway, so now we're on the ground floor and we're just, you know, fixing up our terrain paint. And we actually do something really cool here, which I discovered. I basically just like put dirt down and then I covered it with stepping stones, and it has just like really cool like effect. I don't know, it's a really cool pattern, and I like it a lot, and I'm definitely going to be using this like technique in other builds. So I was very happy to discover that. I discover new things about building all the time. I mean, I'm sure other builders have thought of this before, but maybe I'm late to the game, but I was very happy to find that little neat trick. And then we're gonna go in and do a little bit of a backyard area. And I'm trying to remember what I put in the backyard, and I'm struggling to remember. I'm pretty sure it's like a garden, like more of a garden. So maybe they have like the public garden in the front where like other people can access it, and maybe they have like more of a private garden in the back so that it's like just their personal food. And I kind of wish that I gave him a chicken now that I think about it, because like if this is a home that I would be living in, I'd love to have a chicken coop back here. But you know what? I didn't give him a chicken coop because like I didn't have a chicken coop that was like in the right color palette. There's so many build decisions that I just like, I have to give up because I don't have the right color palette for it. And I know that's just me being very crazy about color, but you know, whatever. I'm very specific. I don't know what it is about my brain that just like needs things to be like in a specific shade or a specific hue or whatever. Just, I don't know. But yeah, as you can see, they do have their own private garden back here, and then they have a little bit of a picnic table, and then obviously they have a recycling bin in the back, and a little trash can. I kind of wish I gave them like that recycling station thing from the Eco Lifestyle Pack. I don't know why I didn't. I think I just kind of forgot about it. But you know, like this build will be available for download. You can check the link in the description down below. It's going to be on Patreon. It's going to be released early access to patrons 2 weeks early, so it'll be released to the public in 2 weeks exactly from today. I don't know what date that is. You can look at the description, you'll see. But I've mentioned this before, but my builds aren't exactly built to be functional. They're more like they're usually like mostly functional, and then there's like certain areas where maybe they're not like fully functional. So keep that in mind if you're going to download my builds. Like, you might have to adjust some things and change some things so they're walkable and stuff like that. But I don't think it should be too much of a hassle. I don't know. But anyway, so in the front area here, we have this little like canopied section. So this is where they can like drop off supplies and stuff for the garden, or just like store stuff that they need. Maybe it's also like a place where they have like public supplies too, so people from the community can come here and like get stuff that they need for their own homes. And then we have that little garden dinner table thing set up, boots by the door, and then we're going to move on to the inside of this build. I really like how the inside turns out, but I must say, like, the exterior of this build is like absolutely my favorite. I really tried to push myself in terms of just trying new things, and in terms of you know, experimenting with this very bright, wild color palette that I don't usually go for. And I'm just so happy with how it turned out, so I hope you guys enjoy it as well. On the inside, the aesthetic we kind of go for is very similar to the outside, with this whole like very nice, bright, like eco-friendly thing. But it's a little bit more, what's the word? I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's like I kind of feel like it's a little bit bougie on the first floor with like the kitchen and stuff in that area, but I don't know. We'll see when we go through it. I vaguely remember the inside of this build because I did build this like a few days ago. I'm just recording this pretty recently. So I should really stop doing that, because sometimes I forget what I did, and it's not good. But on this second floor, we're doing, this is where the bedroom is. We're just gonna put in some curtains. I don't know why we're putting in curtains before anything else. And then we're gonna move back downstairs, and this is where our living room and our kitchen's gonna be. So we're gonna start with our kitchen back here. Look at these windows. They're so freaking unique, you guys. Like, some people really hate this style of window. Like, people think that it looks, and this is totally a valid opinion, because this is just like my opinion that they look good. But some people think they look like total trash, and that they look really like old school and dingy and ugly. And they are kind of ugly, but they're ugly in like a cool way, you know? So I really like these style of windows. I think they're really fun. But as you can see with our kitchen, it's very like smooth and sleek. I just wanted it, I was trying to find a balance between things looking like the traditional aesthetic of like recycled and reused, and like balancing that with something just like a little bit more updated and modern and well designed, you know what I mean? Because I didn't want the kitchen to like, I don't know, I just wanted to be like a very smooth, clean place with like, you know, eco-friendly sourced wood and very like clean counters. I don't know how to describe it. That was just kind of like the vibe I was going for. But as you can see, we have a fruit bowl on the counter, because these people will probably eat a lot of fruit because they have their own garden and stuff like that. Lovely, what's it called? Not a chandelier, just like these hanging pendants above, which look straight out of IKEA. Like that deadass looks like a chandelier out of IKEA, I swear to God. And speaking of IKEA, and just going off on another tangent like I always do, I love IKEA, you guys. Like, I can't get over it. Like, IKEA is like the only modern like major furniture retailer. Have you guys ever thought about that? Like, there's like, you know, like there's the more expensive ones, like, you know, West Elm and whatever, Crate and Barrel, I don't know. But IKEA is like really the only like affordable like major international retail furniture like at all. Like, they don't really have any sort of competition. Have you guys ever thought about this? Like, they kind of dominate the market. And I love them. They have a total monopoly over it, but like I totally love them. Like I love IKEA. Like they're so fun. It's so fun to just go to IKEA and just walk around and like, I mean, maybe this is just because I like interior design that I find it fun. But I'm sure you guys would find it fun too. Just go to IKEA. You can get lunch. You can like pretend that you live in a really fancy apartment. It's just so fun. You guys, I highly recommend for a weekend date. Just go do it. But do you guys want to know like the big secret? Well, it's not really a secret, but do you want to know like the big thing about IKEA that's really like why they're so successful and why they're gonna survive like into the future, from my opinion, and why they haven't like gotten totally screwed by the pandemic when everything closed down? You know why? It's because they are not really like a traditional retailer. Like they're not really retail. They are. That's where they make their money from, but the majority of the experience of IKEA is it's an experience-based business, because when you go to the IKEA store, you're not just like, it's not grocery aisles. The whole thing is set up like an amusement park, you know? Like there's directions around it and you get lost, and there's like different sections for different like aesthetics and vibes and apartment. And then at the end of this huge experience that you have where you're like in all these different rooms and all these different worlds, and you can like imagine yourself like living in like a Parisian style apartment or like a really cool like modern apartment or anything like that. After all that's done, you walk into the gift shop, which is the big storage place at the end, and you get to pick out your gifts from your experience of shopping all the apartments. Like it's totally like shaped like an amusement park, and it's an experience-based business. So like, even though the pandemic shut down a lot of stuff, in the future when you know COVID is hopefully not as bad and a lot more people are vaccinated and all that stuff, and even now, even when things are like not totally perfect yet, but like things are starting to open up again, IKEA is still popping, man, because people like experience-based things. You know, any like retail store that exists without an experience, I guarantee you will not exist in 20 years. Like for example, Sears. Like the reason Sears is not a thing anymore is because anything you can get on Sears, you can get on Amazon online, and it's way less work, it's way less effort, it's cheaper, and it's faster. But with IKEA, you could get like IKEA furniture like at other stores online, supposedly, you know, just like any other furniture store. But only going to IKEA in person do you actually get the IKEA experience. You can't get that online. It's just so fun to go there, you know what I mean? So that has nothing to do with this build, and I realize we're ending on this topic, but it just came to mind to me to me, as someone who's very interested in interior design, just the idea of design as like an experience that leads you into like a retail experience, it's so interesting. I think it's fascinating. So let me know if you guys have any thoughts on the whole IKEA thing. I'll probably talk about it again in the future because I just like love talking about IKEA. Let me know if you have any ideas for future builds. And yeah, it's happy Monday, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.